And I'm going to get this question out of the way about Guinness. Number one, all right.
We can talk about Guinness, guys, because everyone has a million Guinness questions too.
Well, so. I never ever liked Guinness.
I only have one Guinness question.
That's good. Where do I get another pint?
Until I went to Ireland. So I went to Dublin. I went to Dublin for work.
Yep.
Been there a couple of times. Chad went along one time, and even before Chad came with me one time, I told him you got to try the Guinness there. Like, nah, Guinness isn't that good. I'm like, you have to try it there, and it's different there than when you get it here. And even one time on my trip, I came back. I mean, when I was there for a week, and I drank Guinness like it was water. That's all I landed, went straight to the liquor store, got Guinness, brought home, got into the kitchen, cracked it open, drank it. It's like, nope, not the same. Not the same. Why is there such a drastic difference?
So part of the myth, so there's no beer, I think, on earth, I think I can confidently make this claim, that has more myths surrounding it.
Sure.
Than Guinness, right? Because it's special, right? It's special to a lot of people that drink it on a daily basis. It's been around a long time. This is 260 years this year that the brewery has been around.
That is amazing.
It is amazing, and they've been making beer the entire time, which is kind of crazy. So Guinness, what I'll do is I'll cut to the chase, and then I'll kind of walk it back really quick. So the number one myth about Guinness in the United States is that Guinness tastes better in Ireland, right? And what I'll tell you is that I literally just ran a training today at one of our top retailers in New York City, and I talked about this exact same thing today. The myth around Guinness tasting better in Ireland, it kind of stems from three things. One is that beer is an incredibly experiential thing, right? So if you're drinking Three Sheeps, like whatever it is that you're drinking, right? The time and the place and the moment that you're in contributes very heavily, right, to your feelings about the beer, right? So if you are at the brewery drinking a beer, any beer, right? If you're in Milwaukee and you're
for sure
Lakeshore, right? Or you're here in New York and you drink something at some great local brewery, or you're at a pub and you have a very special moment with somebody and you remember what beer you're drinking, right? That halo that surrounds the experience of drinking the beer, right, can't be, understated. So that's the first thing that I'll say, is that the moments that you drink Guinness in Ireland, it's a very special moment for most people, right? And that can't be discounted. The second thing I'll say is that retail best practices, which kind of dovetails into the draft shop kind of solution that I'm trying to provide a little bit, kind of half-baked at the moment, is the fact that if you do everything perfectly, right? If you treat your lines correctly, if you pour your beer correctly, if you clean your glassware correctly, if you have the perfect gas mix for Guinness, if you do a 2-part pour, right? If you clean everything, if you hit all the marks, right, to pouring a perfect pint of Guinness, I can confidently tell you, and it's my job to be a know-it-all about Guinness, but I can confidently tell you that it does not taste any different than it does in Ireland, right? But if you couple the fact that retail best practices are certainly different, glassware correctly, if you have, what's that?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the retail best practices of most retailers here in the U.S. is very different than it is in Ireland, first of all. And second of all, they've had a long time of implementing these best practices, right? And so the consistency of the pint, the fact that you can go to every pub there and get the same perfect pint is good. But there are many pints, as an example, here in New York City that I would pin up against any pint in Dublin, and I would tell you it's the exact same thing, right? So all of those things being said, what I can tell you is that empirically it's no different, right? The beer is no different. It's all brewed at St. James's Gate. All the beer that you get here in the U.S., all the traditional stouts that we have available are all brewed in Ireland. They're all brewed in the exact same brewery that you can get the beer from Dublin in, right? But all of those other, sort of that halo that we talked about around the brand and around the experience that you have is very much there. So it's a huge myth. Certainly there are places that pour much better pints if they are serious about pouring good beer. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't taste any different if you do it properly.
And what's funny is all the guys that I know in Ireland know what places pour the best pints. Like when we go out at night, like, no, we can't go there. They don't pour a good pint.
Yep.
Chris, what if you're not getting it on tap? Do you recommend bottle, can, some of the other?
I would always recommend a can of Guinness. So we have a 4-pack of, if you're talking about, so we have a bunch of, obviously the Guinness brewery makes a ton of different beers, right? But if you're talking about draft stout, which is I think the beer that you're talking about,
correct.
The 4-packs of cans are the best delivery mechanism at home because As long as those are cold when you pour them, right? Crack it open, one smooth pour, right, into preferably some sort of nice tulip glass of some kind, right, so that it really helps to form the head properly. A shaker pint is really the worst thing that ever happened to beer in general, because shaker pints are just not good for beer. They don't really do it very many favors in terms of the aroma, in terms of the visual appearance of the beer. So that being said, as long as you pour it out in one smooth pour at home, the can is really good, because the can has our patented widget technology inside of it, which allows you to activate the nitrogen properly. So it should give you a really good pour at home.
You are blowing my mind right now.
They pay me the big bucks to do this on a daily basis. You know,
you're good at. He's good.
There's a lot of information. You know,
I think that there's probably another myth swirling around here, and what you just said is the fact that Guinness in a bottle, if you can't get it on draft, Guinness in a bottle has kind of been the go-to, and the can having the widget in it makes sense. Obviously, I mean, a lot of nitro beers have a widget, not, I don't know,
the widget.
Yeah, it's the same piece of technology basically everywhere. Yep.
But you always hear, if you can't get it on draft, get it in the bottle.
Right.
That's what I always hear anyway, and that's the part that's blowing my mind, because I've always bought Guinness bottles. So
I've heard it both ways.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Now we know.
Guinness.
Now I want to drink Guinness. Do you have any?
I'm going to go get some cans tomorrow.
I don't think I do. I think I'm all out of it.
Yeah.
I do have some hard seltzer down there if you want some of that, buddy.
You know,
when is Guinness going to do a hard seltzer?
Are we going to talk about White Claw for the next 45 minutes? Is that our
we're
a Henry's or
podcast? Yeah,
we might as well be. Jeez,
the way
they're exploding.
It's way. Yeah, we don't talk about that crap. We need to talk about